It's now that time of year on the sports calendar. College football's done. Ohio State went on a wild run, all thanks to Michigan.
Michigan deserves the title.
We had an interesting all-chalk March Madness, which many people weren't too fond of, but it ended in an amazing Final Four. You can't complain about that unless your team was Houston, and I picked the Cougars to win in my bracket. So yes, I was on my hands and knees, and with that, college hoops is over as well. So it's time for us sports fans to move on to the next logical thing. Watch postseason LeBron like our life depends on it.
Come on, King. Come on, GOAT. Score that. Yeah, score that. Foul, foul. I'm pouring honey on you, GOAT.
Let's try that again. So it's time for us sports fans to move on to the next logical thing. Watch college baseball. But the only problem, no one, and I mean no one, watches college baseball. Look at these viewership numbers for the last championship game of each sport. Impressive. Where do you think college baseball ranks? Not even close. The CWS gets outdone by March Madness and the CFP by 9 to 10 times. Oh, but that's because baseball is dying, right? Here's a similar graph ranking championship viewership for American professional sports, and would you look at that? Baseball finishes second only to the Super Bowl while beating out the NBA and NHL. This is not a baseball problem. It's specifically a college baseball problem. Ever since I was a kid, I wondered why baseball didn't have the same effect as the other two major college sports did. So today, we're going on an exploration to find out the truth. I have uncovered 3 major reasons for why no one watches college baseball, and they're pretty sad. They might shock you. And at the end, I'll tell you how I am contributing to the problem. It's all my fault. But before we get started, if you love great sports content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on another. The first reason, college baseball is not accessible. And before we get into exactly why, we must look at it from a bird's eye view. It's Friday, April 11th. I want you to scroll through your channel guide. Only one game is watchable for a regular national TV plan. It's Stanford versus Clemson on ESPNU. Basically, everything else is regional or behind a paywall like ESPN Plus, which is the opposite from what we see in other main sports. At this point, casual fans are pretty much taken out of the game. They consume what's convenient and what's given to them through TV or media. They also drive a lot of revenue when it comes to viewership and ultimately the TV and media rights deals. College baseball has a deal worth $920 million, which is split with other sports, while NCAA football and basketball are at 8 and 9 billion respectively. Unfortunately, it's a feedback loop. No coverage leads to no casual fans, meaning no big ratings, no media push, and it repeats. So yeah, college baseball is not on TV because it doesn't get ratings, but it doesn't get ratings because it's not on TV in the first place. Now, you can bring up the bad timing of the season starting in mid-February as a cause of this, since TV networks like ESPN are already oversaturated with hoops and whatnot, but that's not it. If you somehow found the games and got into it and started following your favorite team, there's still another problem for fans, because college baseball doesn't just compete with football and basketball for attention, it's also competing with baseball. Yeah, that's right. There's already too much baseball. Let's look at the setup. College football stadiums, on average, they're on par with those in the NFL, and in some cases, even bigger for capacity. Michigan, Penn State, LSU, Tennessee, these places pack near 100,000 people like it's nothing. College hoops arenas, sure, most are smaller than NBA arenas, but you'd be surprised with how many actually hold more fans than the average NBA team draws. Syracuse plays in a dome. Rupp Arena in Kentucky, that place is absolutely massive. Atmosphere matters, and basketball has it. Now let's compare college baseball parks to MLB stadiums. It's not even close. The average MLB stadium seats around 40,000, and the average college baseball stadium, 4,000 to 8,000, if that. And there's a reason, because college baseball isn't trying to measure up to the pros. It's competing with the most saturated level of pro sports out there, minor league baseball. Baseball is the one sport where the developmental leagues are absolutely massive. There are 120 affiliated minor league teams, and it used to be 160 back before 2021. They're in big cities, smaller towns, suburbs, middle of nowhere, and a lot of times in conflicting markets of those college towns. And they've got the formula down. Cheap tickets, goofy mascots, themed jersey nights, dollar beer Tuesdays, fireworks Saturdays, live music Fridays, bobbleheads on Sundays, whatever you want. It's a vibe, it's a night out, it's fun. Now, what does college baseball throw into fan engagement? In most cases, it's nothing. Let's say you live in North Carolina. It's a Friday night in April. You've got NC State hosting a huge ACC matchup versus Clemson, and these are two very, very good teams, by the way. But just 30 minutes up the road, the legendary Durham Bulls are playing under the lights. They've got dollar beers, they've got a bobblehead night, and a fireworks show after the game. Ask yourself, where are you going? Exactly, and that's why college baseball is in such a tough spot. It's not as polished or fast-paced as the majors game-wise, and it's also not as fan-friendly as the minors. It's also not as nationally relevant as its college counterparts, football or basketball. So where does it fit? Right now, it doesn't, and maybe that would be okay if the product on the field was undeniably elite, if you were watching future MLB All-Stars every night, if you were seeing the next Mike Trout or Mookie Betts before they blew up, maybe the lack of coverage and weak stadiums would not matter. But here's the problem. You are not. All right, guys, bear with me, but I have to pay rent this month. This happens to all of us. You're watching a football game, you see a flag called and think to yourself, that was weak, or how did they miss that? Now your voice can actually count thanks to today's sponsor, Penalty Verdict. This app is actually really cool. It lets you vote on penalty calls in real time for this year's up-and-coming college football and NFL games. You're not just screaming at your TV anymore. You're part of a community of fans who care about fair play and accountability for these refs. You'll get to see real-time polling on the most controversial calls, data-driven insights on refs, players, and more, plus a whole new way to talk about ball. The coolest part is that this app is still in development, meaning it's going to take your feedback and make it even better. Once again, Penalty Verdict, and if you want to check it out and also support my channel, hit that link down in the description below, and let's get after it. Based on Fox Sports NFL player rankings, the top 5 players all played in college, and that's no surprise. In football, you have to develop before taking the next step. Now, looking up the NBA and the top 5 players right now, according to CBS, 2 of them played in college. Yes, there are various options for guys coming out of high school in 2025, but besides the foreign-dominant top 1%, a majority of hoopers play Division I college basketball. In the MLB, only 1 of the top 5 players played college baseball. Even further, out of the top 10, still only 1 player played in college. You zoom out even more, 2 of the 15 best current players in Major League Baseball played college baseball. Come on. You never saw Juan Soto in a college uniform. You didn't follow Ronald Acuna Jr. during a deep Omaha run, and you didn't stay up late to catch Shohei Ohtani's start at Arizona State. None of that happened. Baseball's top talent either gets drafted straight out of high school or they come from international development pipelines. And even when elite prospects do play college baseball, they're there for maybe 1 or 2 years. Just enough time for a couple of ESPN Plus appearances, and then boom, gone to the minors. It's hard to build the following, it's hard to build storylines, and it's hard to get fans invested in players who are just passing through, and that's no knock on these players. College baseball is still insanely talented, but the absence of big names and brands makes it harder to connect. To be honest, it's just good baseball, and for the average fan, that's not enough, and it leads to an even bigger problem. If fans don't care, schools won't either, because at the end of the day, college sports are driven by money and momentum. Star players and brands bring in fans, fans bring in viewership, viewership brings in revenue, revenue drives investment. It's why college football programs get $100 million facilities. There's a return on investment when your athletes become household names. But college baseball, for the most part, there's no Zion, there's no Money Manziel, there's no Caitlin Clark that explodes onto every screen in America. So the schools will treat it accordingly. Budgets are smaller, facilities are outdated, coaching salaries are lower, games are thrown on dusty networks or buried behind paywalls. It's a cycle of neglect because there is no clear payoff. And that's the final nail in the coffin. College baseball is stuck in limbo. It's not popular enough to be prioritized, not visible enough to build stars, and without those stars playing in the first place, there's no reason for the system to change. So when people say college baseball deserves more love, they are right. But until someone, players, fans, or the NCAA itself breaks that cycle, nothing is going to change. So here's where I come in. What if I told you that baseball was my favorite sport? Now, my subscribers would never believe me. Just go look at my channel. Look what content I produce. And honestly, that's part of the problem. College baseball baseball doesn't get the national media love, and creators like me, we're not making it any easier. So this spring, I might just have a few fun things planned on top of the basketball and football content I usually give you guys. But in the meantime, go watch some college baseball, go to your local game, buy ESPN Plus, and one last thing, OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 5. The Lakers are winning the chip this year. I'm calling it now.